there is no better evidence that big tech is out of control than the fact that they banned the sitting president of the United States earlier this year. If they can do it to me, they can do it to anyone. This censorship is unlawful, it's unconstitutional, and it's completely un-American.
Former President Trump today announcing he's leading a class action lawsuit against Facebook, Google, and Twitter, the three big tech companies that suspended him, as you may recall, after January 6th. And they claim that they violated his First Amendment rights. Now, the lawsuit was filed today in the Southern District of Florida. They seek injunctive relief and damages for a group of Americans harmed by the social media companies' decisions to silence them. Joining me now is John Coale, one of the group's lead attorneys. John, good to see you. Explain in layman's terms for us how you can answer the claim that these companies, they're just private enterprises, not government actors that are constrained otherwise by the Constitution.
Okay, the Supreme Court over the years has defined what makes one a government actor. And there's actually, by encouraging is one of the prongs of it. And they did that when they gave these companies immunity. Now, they gave it way before they even existed, which makes it silly, but they've encouraged them by giving them immunity to do things that Congress can't do themselves. Congress can't censor you. Also, by coercion, when all those Democratic senators over the last year and a half, kept threatening these companies, if you don't do what we say and ban Trump, censor their definition of misinformation or hate speech, we will maybe tear you apart. We might take away your immunity, whatever. But the Supreme Court has said you can't coerce them to do those things. And the other thing you can't do is participate in government actions, as Fauci did with Facebook and with CDC did with Twitter and Facebook. Now, it's just fine if Fauci or the CDC want to say something or give their opinion, that's one thing. But they do not have the right as government entities to censor people who may have a different opinion. So what they did is they farmed that out to Facebook, Twitter, and Google. And they can't do that. That makes them state actors, which means that the First Amendment, freedom of speech, applies.
Well, when Zuckerberg wrote that note to Fauci that just came out, 3 or 4 weeks ago when all those emails came out, remember there was that paragraph toward the end of the note. It was lauding Fauci's leadership in the COVID. And this paragraph that was all blacked out. And when you read it, you read the rest of the letter, it seemed like it might have been referencing, we're going to do better to crack down on misleading claims. That's where it seemed like that probably would go. It's just my guess. But that would be dispositive, perhaps, toward your claim that they're kind of colluding together, to use their favorite word, as a quasi-state actor. Are you going to move to try to get that paragraph unblacked out?
Absolutely.
Unredacted.
We will get that paragraph unblocked. And the thing is, there's a lot of other evidence that the CDC, Fauci, and others, NIH, worked with these companies to censor things.
Now, the legal analysts out there, the TV lawyers, are claiming that this is kind of a frivolous claim that you've raised. Watch.
This case is dead on arrival, and I think President Trump and his lawyers know it. I think this is more of a PR stunt than a legal case.
That's a former U.S. District Attorney. Ms. McQuaid thinks the lawsuit has no legs.
Well, that's really good for somebody who just found out about it a few hours ago. I wish I was that smart. We've worked day and night for 3 months to put it together, but, she's much smarter than I am. Probably you are, too. Who knows?
One thing that they immediately came out with, and this wasn't surprising, person after person, we don't need to play the montage. This is just a fundraising ploy, John. This is just Donald Trump trying to raise money. Somehow you have a class action, but you're going to take money for the class action, the legal fees, and use it to advance, I don't know, Trump's political ambitions for the future or something like it?
What's really sad is the hatred for Donald Trump surpasses all reason. Behind me at that stage today should have been the ACLU, which is gone, who knows where they've gone. But this is a classic suit for them, and it's ridiculous that the left doesn't understand. They're getting the conservatives this week. In 5 years, they're going to get the liberals. You can't have this kind of unrestrained free speech and taken away like this. It's really disgusting.
Well, one would think that the Republicans might have, when they had the majority, Paul Ryan was the Speaker of the House, and they had the majority in both houses. There were a lot of conservatives, especially, saying it's time to break up these tech companies. It wasn't done. Everyone's trying to be buddy-buddy with Zuckerberg, and even President Trump had those guys to the White House, sat around the table, nodded together. Is he regretting that now?
Yes, he is. I've talked to him about that.
Well,
but
I mean,
Laura, one of the things that's really sad is this is prior restraint. That means I'm going to gag you before you talk because I think I might know what you're going to say. The Supreme Court hates that. As you know, you've been to the Supreme Court. It hates prior restraint. Donald Trump is under prior restraint every hour of every day now for 6 months and another 2 years or whatever it is.
How many people in the class total?
We don't know yet. Thousands. They're coming in out of the woodwork. Nobody knew it existed. Right now we have about 75, 80 people, but it'll go into the thousands, and then we have to identify them as part of the class action suit.
John, we are going to be obviously following this. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.